35. Luke 10:25 through 35. I'll be reading from the ESV version. And behold, a lawyer stood up to put him to the test, saying, "Teacher, what shall I do to inherit eternal life?" He said to him, "What it is written in the law, how do you read it?" And he answered, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself." And he said to him, "You have answered correctly. Do this, and you will live." But he, desiring to justify himself, said to Jesus, "And who is my neighbor?" And Jesus replied, "A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho, and he fell among robbers, who stripped him and beat him and departed, leaving him half dead. Now by chance a priest was going down that road, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. So likewise, a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, as he journeyed, came to where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion. When he went to him and bound up his wounds, pouring oil and wine, and he set him on his own animal and brought him to an inn and took care of him. And the next day he took out 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper, saying, 'Take care of him, and whatever more you spend, I will repay you when I come back.'" In verse 25, a question is asked, "What shall I do to inherit eternal life?" Jesus responds with, "What is written in the law? How do you read it?" And the man answered, the man gives a list of things, but tonight I want to focus on when he says, "Love your neighbor as yourself." Down through verse 37, Jesus tells a parable of the Good Samaritan. In verses 30 through 31, it says, Jesus replied, "A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho, and he fell among robbers, who stripped him and beat him and departed, leaving him half dead. Now by chance a priest was going down the road, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side." The priest saw this man on the ground, but chose not to do anything. This is the same with the Levite in verse 32. So likewise, a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. So after the Levite and the priest passed, we see in verses 33 through 35 that a Samaritan finds him on the side of the road and tries to heal his wounds and takes him to an inn. The priest and the Levite saw this man beaten on the side of the road and chose not to do anything. In Matthew 5:16, it states, "In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven." At the end of this, we see it says we need to be a light to others so people will glorify God. Jesus, throughout this parable, teaches us we need to love our neighbors. This term is not just talking about the people we live beside, but it's talking about how we need to treat everyone. In Matthew 7:12, verse 12, it says, "So whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them, for this is the law and the prophets." Now, my grandmother always tells me that I need to be kind, be kind, be kind. She tells me this on a daily basis, but it is true, and I'm always glad that she reminds me. In Matthew 22:37 through 39, it says, And he said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment. And a second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself." So we need to be kind and love our neighbors. I want to close with the last 2 verses of this parable, Luke 10:36 through 37. Luke 10:36 through 37. "Which of these 3 do you think proved to be a neighbor to the man who fell among the robbers?" He said, "The one who showed him mercy." And Jesus said, "You go and do likewise." If you need to respond, please come to the front as together we stand and sing.